One of the least talked about of the moral and ethical principles of the Yamas is Asteya, translated into English as non-stealing. It might seem like perfect sense to advise pretty much all human beings to refrain from stealing. But when you apply Asteya to the yoga path and the spiritual journey, the first thing to think about is to refrain from acts of appropriation. For example, if you claim someone else's knowledge as your own without giving them credit, you're appropriating the mental, spiritual, or emotional labor of someone else. So remember to always give credit to your sources and to your teachers. You never lose anything from that. In fact, you only gain by affiliating yourself with the great minds and hearts who've come before you. As yoga practitioners, we have to be sensitive to acts of cultural appropriation so that you can learn to honor and not appropriate India's vast contribution to the spiritual path of yoga. Similarly, if you are a contemporary person, you probably engage in consumerism, meaning you buy things. Well, in business, sometimes acts of appropriation kind of seem like the norm, where one clothing company copies another clothing company, one person copies someone else's good idea. As yogis, it's very important to really find ethical, honest businesses to support. And if you are a business-oriented yogi, then to run your business in moral and ethical alignment with the principle of not only Asteya, but really the whole yogic path. Last thing to think about is how we value resources. For example, a really important resource is time. And many people steal other people's time by simply talking to make up space or not being considerate of other people's boundaries. Similarly, when we pillage the resources of the earth, we're stealing from future generations. So acts of sustainability towards the planet could be considered to be very much in alignment with Asteya. As yoga practitioners, remember, we're held to Mahavratam, the great vow, which means you're not excused by time, place, or circumstance. When looking at Asteya, the real root of this is to be confident within yourself so that you can engage in true generosity, to understand that we don't own anything anyway. It's all borrowed. So to be kind, to be generous, to be giving, this is the heart of the yoga path.